Welcome back to the Odds Honest Truth. I'm Craig Gorbanoff, producer Craig, at cgorb94, whatever you want to call me. That's me right here. You can follow me on Twitter at this location. We're sorry we missed you guys last week. We did tweet out our plays, so hopefully you followed along and you cashed some tickets. That's going to be at Odds Honest Truth on Twitter. You can follow my man Rich. I'm not good at the reversal thing on YouTube. At Coda522. And Alan, that's easy, right down there at StuCast Sports. What's going on, fellas? Welcome back after another great week of cashing some tickets, hitting some bets. It's right back into the football machine. How's everyone doing tonight?
Doing great.
I'm doing great, man. It's good to finally be with you guys in person, and it's fun chatting with you guys in the pre-show, and hopefully that extends into the regular show.
Yes, absolutely. We're very excited to be here tonight talking about all things football bets. Make sure you follow along on Twitter. We'll be sure to post all of our plays on there at Odds Honest Truth. Of course, you can find this show on the In the Money Media Master feed. Pretty soon we'll be setting up our own feed, so keep an eye out for that. You'll make sure you want to follow on that because we won't be on the master feed forever because it's a little too horsey over there. So eventually we'll set up our own feed. But for right now, PTF is being so kind. We'll be joined by some friends from the In the Money family along the way throughout the season. Tonight, for sure, we got Matt Bernier joining us of the eponymous Matt Bernier show. Is that what Pete calls it? I gotta keep up on all these nicknames, man.
You're using a $10 word there, Craig.
I'm doing my best PTF impression. I got to grow out my beard a little and have a little more whiskey, but that's neither here nor there. So, guys, let's get started. Let's talk about some bets. We're going to pull our odds from kind of all over the place. We have a lot of different plays, a lot of different perspectives. Also, a lot of really good sign-up bonuses still for anyone who's thinking about getting into sports betting who hasn't quite gotten there yet. There's a lot of great sign-up offers. So Caesars has a really good sign-up offer, $5,000 risk-free bet and a free jersey. There's a $1,000 risk-free first bet from BetMGM. Deposit $250, get $250 from PointsBet. I mean, now's the time, guys. Get involved. Pick an ADW or be like Rich and get involved in all of them and take whichever offer you want to go with. So let's open things up with some NCAA football plays. And with that, StuCast Sports, take it away, baby.
Hey, guys, I'm sorry. First week, we go 3-1. Last week, 3-3. If I don't hit all my picks, guys, rest of my plays the rest of the year free. Absolutely free, I promise. I'm talking missile package. I'm talking the underwater special package. Every package free. Let's go to Thursday night. Let's start Thursday night. App State, the Mountaineers, hosting the Marshall Thundering Herd. 6.5 is the line in some places. I love 6.5. You're finding it about 7 in most places. I know Barstool had it at 6.5, for instance, earlier today. Look, I love App State here. You talk about a running game that is absolutely phenomenal. Cameron Peoples, he showed you in Miami and Coral Gables what he could do against a really decent D1 defense. I know they would disagree. But Chase Bryce has come in, and he's been, Zach Thomas-esque. The play action packages are working. And I think App State is just the class of the Fun Belt. And Marshall, you look at who they played. They beat up on a really bad Navy team. They beat a know-nothing FCS team. And then last week, they play a real team in Eastern Carolina, and they blow a huge lead late, lose outright to a 10-point dog. You got to go to Boone, North Carolina, Thursday night. Give me the Mountaineers. And also one of the best defenses in the Sun Belt. So that's another thing, too. I'd take a look at that over-under line, see if it's to your liking, lean under. But the play officially, App State minus 6.5. Let's go to our total games. We're 2-0 in our totals. Give me Kent State, the Golden Flash. It's sponsored by Marvel. They're heading up to play Maryland. In this game, I fully expect to go over. We're at 69 now. A couple days ago, we were at 67. It's showing you get on this game really quickly because it's going to move. It'll probably be 70 by kickoff. Both teams really good offenses. You wouldn't know it looking at Kent State, but they've played Iowa and Texas A&M. You can make a case that those two are two top 5 defenses in the country. I think Kent State is goods offensively. They are the drizzling you-know-what's defensively, however. And we see Talia Tungavailoa. We see what he can do. And I think they open it up against bad defenses. I think they do it here. Also, if I was going to give you a side play there, team total. But official play, give me Maryland over. Take a look at that Maryland team total over, where you can find it. Anything over 47, 48 might be interesting. My favorite team in the country, UConn. They're the gift that keeps on giving. This week, they take on Wyoming. Wyoming's a good Mountain West team. This is not middle tier. This is not lower end. They just beat Ball State by 33 at home in Laramie, up in the weather. But beating Ball State, the MAC champions last year, by 33, enough to perk your ears up. UConn, last week, they get that backdoor cover because they're playing a glorified high school team. When you get to like the third string of Army or Navy or Air Force, you're essentially playing freshmen, kids who were, amalgamate into like a decent high school team. And that's what they did. And they beat them 21-9 in the second half. That's sad. This might be the worst Division I team I've ever seen. Give me Wyoming first half. I'm not going to get that backdoor cover and have that blow me out. Wyoming first half. That is my best bet of the week. Wyoming first half. And we'll end it up. My favorite team in the country outside the great Spartans from Michigan State are the Hilltoppers from Western Kentucky. Bailey Zappi, he tweets me. He likes some of my tweets. What can I say? I'm a big deal. I love Western Kentucky, but at this week, they take off a very ornery Indiana Hoosier team coming into Western Kentucky. Now, had Western Kentucky come into this game, they're off a bye, but playing an Indiana team off a big win against Cincinnati, maybe I'd lean Western Kentucky. But here, I think Indiana is going to take it. Laying 9, I'm comfortable with that because I think they win by double digits. Look, Western Kentucky, for as much as they're going to throw the ball, and they will throw 40 to 60 times in this game, their defense is really not clicking. They were giving up 38 to Army, gave up almost 20 to UT Martin. UT Martin had a late fumble in that game, start the year off. That's not indicative of a really great defense. Indiana's going to exploit it. I think this is a get-right game for Indiana. And I think they're going to try and put on a show and really get their season back on track. And a win like this could do it. So Indiana -9. We're going to take Wyoming -17 first half. Best bet. Kent State, Maryland over 69. App State -6.5 on Thursday. And I'll throw this one out there. If you feel froggy, Kansas +16. This is my do with it what you want. Two bad teams. I'm not laying. This is one, and you guys will talk about it because you guys are NFL guys. You see it all the time. I don't like laying big numbers with horrible teams, and that's a case there. Take a look at that Kansas line. Do with it what you will.
Yeah, I like that angle a lot. It's listen. If we're all terrible, right?
Mhm.
you don't. That's a pretty big number. That might be something worth throwing. Maybe you get a free bet this week from your ADW choice. Maybe you throw a couple of bucks that way.
Wyoming first half's really free money. UConn is horrific. They belong on like the ID Discovery Channel. It's like a murder crime. Like it's awful.
I totally feel you. Check out those plays. Of course, we'll have that all written out in the description down below for any of you lazy folks. But hopefully you listen to that analysis because there's some good stuff there, and you can formulate some of your own plays by listening to the analysis. That's the biggest thing I've learned while producing for In the Money is it's not just about the picks. You want to listen to all the analysis. That way you can decide if I'm stupid or not, really is the game we're playing. All right, guys, we're about to head over to the NFL. Before we do, I just want to mention our friends over at Old Smoke Clothing. I'm sporting the JK Plus One line. You can use the promo code MONEY for free shipping, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but that'll be in the description below as well. Again, I'm doing my best PTF impression. At Looms Boldly. Let me know if I'm doing a good job. Without further ado, let's hop in over to the NFL. And again, TV's Matt Bernier is joining us tonight. Matt, take it away.
Matt Bernier from the Matt Bernier Show in the Money Media, NBC Sports, taking a look at a game from the Week 3 slate in the NFL. You go through maybe not the sexiest slate of games outside of that Tampa and LA showdown out in Los Angeles, but there are some intriguing matchups, especially from a gambling standpoint. When I go through, the one that sort of stood out to me, and maybe it's a little bit of a smelly line up for debate, the Miami Dolphins on the road against the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are 3.5-point home favorites. To me, when you look at these two teams, start with Miami, what has Miami shown you in the first 2 weeks to make you think that they are any better than they were last year or even equal to what they were last year? They probably should have lost on the road in New England in Week 1, if not for a late fumble from Damian Harris for the Patriots. Last week, they get the doors blown off, blanked at home by, let's be fair, a good Buffalo team that's probably still in that top 2 or 3 in the AFC, despite the fact that people wanted to overreact after Week 1. Now you also come into Week 3 with Tua. If he does play, he's got some banged up ribs. He already had a hard time pushing the ball down the field when he was perfectly healthy. Now if he does play, you're going to be dealing with a compromised quarterback. And if it's not him, it's going to be Jacoby Brissett. And I like Jacoby Brissett. I think he's a borderline starting quarterback in the NFL. But it's, again, not as though all of a sudden he's going to turn the world upside down. And on the flip side, you've got the Raiders, who, admittedly, I didn't love them coming into the season, especially out in that division. I think that's arguably still one of the best in the entire NFL. But you look at the way that they won their 2 games so far this year, and by no means was Week 1 a convincing win. But when I say I was convinced, the fact that they were able to battle back and beat a pretty solid Baltimore team, maybe they're not going to win the Super Bowl, but many people, they were kind of a hot team coming into the year. For them to battle back the way that they did and get the job done, I think that showed a little bit of heart, despite the fact that the end of game management from Gruden was a disaster. Neither here nor there. And then this past week, to go into Pittsburgh, and no, Pittsburgh may not be one of the better teams in the AFC, but it's not an easy place to go into and win. Derek Carr is slinging the ball all over the lot. We know all about Darren Waller, a million targets in every game. And I think they're going to be able to get a little bit of pressure on the Dolphins quarterback, whoever it ends up being. The line is 3.5. When I put the game together and crunched it through my model, I've got the Vegas Raiders winning 24-14 at home against the Dolphins. That easily covers the 3.5 spread. If I can take a look real quick on the fly, also from a total standpoint, the total for this game, according to DraftKings anyway, is 45. I have that at 38, so maybe you want to look at an under. But for me, for Week 3, if you're looking for a game to maybe at least kick the tires on, something to just think about. The Raiders at home, minus 3.5 against the Dolphins. I think you want to lay the points with the home side.
Thank you so much, Matt. Greatly appreciated. You can check out the Matt Bernier Show on, of course, the In the Money Media Network. He has his own podcast feed, like we will someday. And, of course, he's also with NBC Sports. Lots of great stuff from Matt Bernier, and we are graced by the presence of TV's Matt Bernier. Did I sell it enough, fellas? TV's Matt Bernier.
Undersold it. Matt Bernier is a mensch.
Love it. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. It is worth noting that we are recording the show on Tuesday night. That means the most prop bets and plays and fun stuff available to us is at Thursday Night Football. Of course, this show is coming out on Wednesday. So, Rich, take us through Thursday night's matchup.
Well, let me start by saying, we heard that Wyoming, first half is free money. Caesar's Super Boost is also free money because it is undefeated. So let's say you put money on, play the Super Boost. You can play nothing else. You're going to walk away with money. I might have a little love affair right now with Caesars. I talk to my wife all the time about it. She might think that she's number 2 on my list. And she might be right because they sent me a free jersey today, just simply from betting. If you bet with us so far, you have that same jersey. We're always going to put the bets out on Twitter, so definitely check it out. And they're going to come out with another super boost for Thursday Night Football. Without a doubt, bet the max. It's going to hit. We don't know what it is yet, but by this time tomorrow, we will. So Thursday night, if you've been watching the NFL so far, you know that the Panthers are for real. And as a Jets fan, that hurts me deep to my core. But you got to give credit where credit is due. The Panthers are going into Thursday night's game against probably, if not the worst team in the NFL, bottom 5 in the Texans. With Tyrod Taylor being out, we're gonna have to see what Davis Mills does. I'm sure the Stewcast knows a lot more about that than I do, but I'm going heavy on the Panthers with my bets this week. Christian McCaffrey over 46.5 yards receiving. Sam Darnold just loves dropping the ball off, and I would too. Christian McCaffrey is a great security blanket. He can get in the end zone. I think he will get in the end zone. So Christian McCaffrey over 46.5 yards receiving, $25 wins you $46.74. Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown, 25 wins you $35.87. If you want to parlay those, by all means. I'm more of a straight bet guy myself. I like to get paid immediately. I don't like waiting for the other thing to happen, but I'm sure it's probably a nice little cash there. First touchdown. I'm also going Panthers. I think there's a trend here. $25 wins you $35.64. And, the Panthers are probably going to go up quick. Brandin Cooks has been great this year. Now, keep in mind, Tyrod Taylor has been the one throwing him the ball mainly. But his over is 63.5. I think just based on, elimination, I think he's going to have to be the guy in this game. 63.5 receiving yards, $25 bet wins you $48.81. And again, whatever the super boost is for this game, be sure to bet it. Caesars definitely is the best. And I know we talked about it in the beginning of the show. If you're going to sign up for one, their odds are unmatched. It doesn't even come close. DraftKings is definitely second. But my list, it's Caesars and then everyone else.
And we're not sponsored yet, but Caesars,
well, if you hear us, come on, Caesars, let's go.
Come on. No, I think there's lots of great options out there, but yeah, the Caesar Super Boost is undefeated. It's a crazy angle. I'm actually refusing to join Caesars because I'm afraid I'll ruin it for you. Because I was lazy week 1, I didn't join, and now you've been on such a hot streak that I think I'll take away some of the magic. If I do, in fact, join the Caesar Sportsbook. So I'm going to wait till you miss one, and then maybe I'll join to get in on the action. Let's move around the NFL now. Let's talk about some other games. I got a play for you guys here. I'm taking a look at this Cardinals game. I think this is going to be the blowout of the week. I think that the Arizona Cardinals won. They're just a really good football team. They won a real gutsy game last week against the Minnesota Vikings. They have a much, much easier matchup this week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The spread is only 7.5. Last I looked at FanDuel Sportsbook. I think they cleared that quite easily. And I'm, unlike Rich, I like a little same game parlay. I like a little combine some plays, get some odds, and maybe cash a little bit of a ticket. And I think that Kyler Murray is just gonna put on a show. I did this last week with Lamar Jackson. I just had the wrong outcome with the Kansas City Chiefs. Our friend Jonathan Kinchin knows a little bit about that, losing money with the Kansas City Chiefs. But I think that Murray's gonna have a monster game. Bet the over on his passing yards, bet the over on his rushing yards, and take the Cards minus 7.5. You can bet them straight. You can parlay them all together. But I think that's going to get you a pretty nice payout against just a weaker Jacksonville Jaguar team. That's going to be probably where I'm spending the most of my money, but I have a couple of other quick plays here. Alan, man, you said you dabbled a bit in the NFL. Where are you heading this week?
Hey, look, I'm not as good as you guys in the NFL, all right? But I'm going to go against my boy Joe Burrow. I love him. Pittsburgh, I like them right here, and a couple reasons why. One, I'll give you an angle. Bengals, 3-7, covering the spread in their last 10. Not a great number. And if you look at this team, the first 2 weeks, 1-1, close games, hard fought, but when you pull back the veil on this offensive line, which we were shocked when they didn't pick Penei Sewell. Now with my Lions, the kiddies, it was shocking, right? It was weird because that offensive line is horrific. They're abysmal, and they've shown up abysmal this year. 9 sacks already. I think even though TJ Watt with the groin issue, I still love this Steelers defense. So I'm taking that 3.5, and I'm moving it to 6.5 because if I'm playing an NFL game, 3.5 is like the worst number in the world to me. You're either give me the 6.5. Give me a little plus value on it. I think it's like plus 120, plus 115. It's not much, but give you a little bang for your buck. And then I'll throw out Ravens Lions. I think the Ravens secondary is awful. I think that's been proven true. I think the Lions can only do one thing, and that's throw. I think we've seen that. It's not going to be wet inside the dome. Give me the over. It's currently at 49.
That's what she said.
Oh, bingo.
And the Lions had a bit of a gutsy performance against the Packers. It wasn't
they tried.
It wasn't the beatdown that I expected. I mean, I thought it'd be like 45-0, and it was a game.
We've won once in my life at Lambeau.
Well, and going back to your other Steelers play, the Bengals historically not so great against Pittsburgh. So I think that is I think both of those plays make a lot of sense. Rich, you so expertly talked about Panthers Texans. What else are you playing this week?
I actually love a lot of these spreads. You mentioned the Cardinals already. For people who want money values, 25 wins you 48-81. I know a lot of people like the money, so there's that. The Titans this week are -5 against the Colts, and it looks like Carson Wentz isn't going to play in this game. So that maybe means that Jonathan Taylor has a little more chance to score a touchdown, but it means that the Titans are probably going to run away with this thing. $25.
Quite literally run away, because if it's not on
King
the back
Henry.
of King Henry, they're not doing anything.
Exactly. So $25 wins you 46.74. For me, I think that spread's going to go it's going to go higher. So if you can bet it early before it goes over 7. The Raiders right now are -3.5 against the Dolphins. I think Tua is going to be out. I mean, there's no way that he can play. I think half his ribs are destroyed right now. So that means Brissett's going to be in the game. I think the Raiders can handle Brissett because the Raiders have handled, their first 2 week matchups with the Ravens and then with the Steelers. $25 wins you 46.74. Again, that's the same number as the Titans. And the Falcons +3 right now. $25 wins you 47.73 against the Giants. I'm not saying the Giants are a bad team. I'm not saying the Falcons are a good team. I just think Matt Ryan, he's going to rebound. The Giants are still having that hangover from last week, and there's a lot of discord with that team right now. It's Kadarius Toney. It's Galladay. It seems like Jason Garrett's in the doghouse right now. I think Daniel Jones is going to have a good game. So based on that, I'm also going to bet the over on that game, which right now is 48 points. $25 wins you 47.76. It's going to be a high scoring game. I don't love either of the defenses. For the Giants, their strength is in their secondary. But I mean, I think that Matt Ryan can overcome that. He did have a bit of a comeback against the Tampa Bay Bucks until he decided to throw pick sixes, which is what Matt Ryan does sometimes. But yeah, those are my plays. And I know, Craig, you're going to be the homer here. I don't want to do it. I'm not wearing a Jets hat this week, so go ahead and take that Jets.
A lot of issues from people over you guys looking like a Jets reunion over here.
Yeah.
People were mad about the Jets hats. And maybe that's partially I didn't do a great job of explaining. Rich and I used to host just like a Jets Eagles centric football podcast.
Yeah.
Back in the day. It was a little homage. And obviously I'm a Jets fan. I'm a homer. It's okay.
Yeah, but I mean, also as Jets fans, the only thing we have is betting. We're not going
betting
to win in real life.
exactly.
That should be more reason to listen to us.
Exactly. It's why we do well in fantasy football too, because it's my
Exactly.
only joy week in and week out. But we appreciate all the comments. Make sure you drop comments below. Shoot us messages on Twitter. We have a lot of fun interacting with you guys. But yeah, I think that the Jets plus 10.5 against an injured Bronco team. I don't know. I think that makes sense. Zach Wilson was abysmal last week, but I have a hard time believing he's going to get worse than last week. I think they'll stay in the mix enough. They could maybe even get a win. Again, this is a beat-up Bronco team, but I do think the Broncos are playing very good football right now, but I think the injuries might catch up to them. Plus 10.5, that's a big enough line like we talked about before. That I'll play around with. $25 gets you 47 and some change. Not a bad play, I think, and it gives me something extra to root for with my New York Jets.
Plus, you get the money from Wyoming. Use your free money from Wyoming first half, and then put it on the Jets. And if you lose, you're back at 0 or whatever you start at. And if you use Caesars, you get a free jersey. Please sponsor us, Caesars.
Please, Caesars. What more do we have to do here? I have 2 more plays for you guys, and I might be getting a little cute here, but that's okay. One of us has to, of the 3 of us, get a little sneak.
Hey, I gave you Kansas. I don't know. Kansas football is like that's very cute.
That is pretty cute. I'll give that to you. But I'm taking a look at the old Washington football team versus the Buffalo Bills. I think the Bills are a very good football team. They are, I think, one of these teams that are built to have success perennially. They play defense well, they can run the football well, and they got a QB with a big arm who's not afraid to take chances, for better or worse, but he's not afraid to do it. And I think that the football team, while they put up a good game last week against the Giants, I just think they're going to be completely outclassed here. I don't know if Mr. Heineke has that many great performances in him. That remains to be seen. But I do think that there'll be some points scored this game. Last week, the Bills were able to shut out the Dolphins 35-0. The over, and this is a host fail. I lost my odds. The over was around 44 points. I think that Washington can put up a couple of points. I think Buffalo will have a similar point performance as they did last week. I'll take the over. If you want to get really cute with some parlays, I think Diggs gets into the end zone. He typically does. I've been a proud fantasy owner.
46 right now.
46 on DraftKings. I like that. I think that they'll hit the over. I think Diggs gets into the end zone. But here's where it gets really cute. I think Josh Allen is going to be under on his passing yards. Last week, it was a beatdown. Josh Allen had about 180 yards through the air. He likes to run the football a lot. I think the Bills' defense is going to be able to score points. I think that they're going to be running out the clock. And that's an angle that I'll play with a lot throughout the year because Josh Allen typically doesn't throw the ball for a lot. If his line is in, if you see 2 in front of Josh Allen's passing yards, I'll take the under most of the time. He doesn't throw for a lot. He likes to run it. And then the last game I'm going to take a look at is Rams-Bucks. I think this is going to be a shootout. You take the over for sure. Matt Stafford's looking great with the Rams. I like the Bucks to win this. It's -1.5. I think they'll probably win by a field goal at the end or get kind of the last second. They'll have the ball last and score. And one angle that I like to look at when it looks like there's going to be a nice QB performance, there's usually some kind of prop bet and it'll have some kind of line boost on game day where it's both QBs to get 3+ touchdowns. And you can make that yourself as well when you're setting up your bets. But take a look at what's being offered at the various sports books. It's an angle that I like. I think Stafford and Brady can each get 3. I think the Bucks win, and I think a lot of points are scored in that game. There might be another NFL play from this guy, but he might be jinxing us. But we'll pause for a sec, and that was it. Everything but the kitchen sink, or maybe the kitchen sink. Get it? Ha! Very funny. Thank you guys so much for joining us again this week on the Odds Honest Truth podcast. Again, you can follow us on Twitter at any of these names down below. But I guess if you're listening audio version, at Seagorb94, at Coda522. at StuCast Sports, and of course at Odds Honest Truth. We'll be posting plays all day on Sunday, including stuff we didn't cover here because this is a Tuesday night recorded podcast. A lot of lines are going to come out. Injuries might happen. There might be some COVID list stuff, some interesting matchups. So definitely keep tuned on social media. Drop some comments in the player down below if you're watching on YouTube. Let us know who you're playing this week because we want to make some money off of you, just like you're making money off of us. Like, come on, guys. It's a two-way street. Like, subscribe. Thank you so much to the In the Money Media Network. Thanks so much to Peter Thomas Fornatel, the business manager, Drew Coatney. Thank you so much to Matt Bernier and Jonathan Kinchin, who are going to be joining us on this show almost every week, close to every week. I don't know. I didn't get a full-time commitment, but they were like, yeah, man, I got you. They'll send in some content. For Rich, for Alan, for Matt and Jonathan, thank you guys so much for listening. And I promise you this time, we'll be back next week.